How you doing? How you doing? Listen to a little viewer mail. Any case, a little wet outside, so the show's going to start inside today because I don't want to be cold and wet. But nonetheless, it's a good time to do it. As we've been talking about last month, creature comforts and kind of the layout room as a whole. I'm proud to announce that we are done with general construction. Completely finished. We do not have any more drywall to do. Thank goodness, I'm sick of it. I have no more, it's finished. We now can focus on the layout. And that brings me to a point of what makes a great layout room. I've kind of taken a look at one of the things. I'm one of these people that what makes people successful, so I kind of find out what they do, and then I kind of mimic it so I can be just as successful. And one of the things I noticed as I look at Lex Parker, Alan McClellan, all these different people, I look at what do they do, and I find two very important things that they all tend to do. And I'm going to use Lex Parker as a great example because, quite frankly, he's one of the finest modelers. Would love to go see his layout if I get a chance. But in any case, one of the things I notice is all these layouts that are just absolutely fantastic. They're finished. Marty McGurk is another great example of somebody. His layout room is finished. Now, we all go about it different ways. In the case, my case, because I was tearing down a layout and putting up a new one, I didn't finish the room ahead of time, and frankly, I'm kind of glad, but it is finished now. And then the other thing to do is organization. Those are two very important things. And John right now is rolling on the floor because he knows that my ability to lose things is astronomical. Matter of fact, John would laugh and say, well, Mike's idea of organization is when he loses a tool, he just goes buy another one, and then he's got two of them, and then he can't lose them at least half as less of the times, and sometimes you get three, and then four, and then you just don't lose them because you can find another one anytime you want to. But nonetheless, that's a method of doing it. But let's kind of take a look at what I've done. We're going to take a short little tour because, I'm very proud of that we finally got this done. And Sean is actually coming over tomorrow. We're going to be finishing up the locomotive facility, which I'm really excited. And we've got things moving in the right direction there. And then two, I thought that, I was listening to the podcast, and I thought that I would at least share a little behind the scenes of what I do with making the videos. You might see back here in the corner, I have some cameras. Now, I have been using DSL cameras for quite some time. I own actually 3 Nikon cameras. I have my old N70, my D40, which is my first digital camera. And the only reason I made a change from that D40 to my D50-100 was two things. One, I could tether it so I could set the the camera in a scene, and I could take shots, and I could actually control the camera via a computer connection, which made it very easy for me to align things, focus things, and do stack photos and things like that. And then as I started this YouTube channel, I was using the 5100 for making the videos, and I did that for the last 18 months. Recently, I just made a new upgrade. The camera I now have is a Canon HF G30, and one of the reasons I got this camera is that on the DSLRs, the motor would focus, and if I got closer like this, you would hear the focus and everything going on, and the screen would do all this kind of movement and everything else, and it was very disturbing. So one of the things I did is I decided and looked at it and said, you know what, I need to do a better video quality. And so I got this new camera, and I'm very pleased with it. This will be the first show with it being used full-time. I've actually dinked around with it a little bit. What's more exciting is that next month you're going to see videos of, I'm actually heading down to the Bay Area, and I'm going to be seeing Dave Falkenberg, Seth Newman, Richard Murphy, and Malcolm Johnson. And I will be videoing taping their layouts And so I will be sharing that next month, so I'm excited to kind of bring that to you as well, and a great opportunity to do that. That's one of the things that this camera is going to be allow me to do, is take that and get a better tracking of the videos or of those layouts. I know I did George's layout. I did that with my DSLR, and some of you may have noticed that the focusing was kind of a little. It was frustrating for me. I got to be honest with you. So this is a huge plus here. And anyway, we're going to take a look at this video room, some creature comforts that we have in place. Going back to Lex Parker. Lex Parker, one of the things I really observed about his layout room, he shared it on several of the Facebook pages, and if you've listened to him on any of the podcasts or any of the different interviews that he's done, or even seen him in the magazine, you're going to discover that Lex has a work area that it's all carpeted down there. He's got a workbench. It's actually a full-size desk. He's very well organized with all his stuff. And then he's got a radio and a TV that he watches. Now, I'm not a big TV watcher. I do watch videos, so I have the computer here. But it allows the modeler to want to come out here. One of the things, people comment, how do you get so much done? Well, the first rule is I spend 20 minutes, at least 20 minutes a day out here working. And to be honest with you, I usually end up spending between an hour, and it depends. There's times when I can only work for 20 minutes because grandkids are coming over, or something's going on, family event or something like that. And of course, I travel as well. That's one of the things that maybe some of you notice, is that I travel quite a bit. I travel quite a bit in the Northwest, and I actually took a new position which will allow me to be home more often. And it's paid off so far. I've had a lot of free time to actually work in the layout room, which is why we're having this video and everything's done, because I was able to catch up with that. So. And then the other thing is being organized. And Lex's organization, you just take a look at it. You've seen, there's lots of photographs out there of people's workbenches and what they do to get organized, and being organized and being able to find parts and things like that. And I've been working on that. It is a weakness that I have. I'm not the strongest organizer. So working with my wife, who's a very good organizer, I've been working to try and get things better organized, and we'll take a look at what I'm doing to get that done. So in any case, I want to talk about a little bit about the products that I put down on the floor here. And the two products I used, this is Pergo. This is an industrial grade, and this is a 10 millimeter Pergo. It has a pad down on the bottom of it, and I actually have this in my work area. So I have my two workbenches over here, my dispatcher's desk over here. Now Loveland and the Great Western Sugar Factory are both over here, but it's basically a crew lounge area. My wife has been actually just impressed by this. Matter of fact, the bad thing about doing this is I have a feeling I'm remodeling a couple more rooms in my house. That's not really what I wanted to do. But anyway, nonetheless, that's the conversation that's been gone after taking a look at this. And so this is a great area. We could actually sit here, watch videos and do things of that nature from here, kind of get brainstorm and things like this. And it's a great area. And a hardwood floor is a nice option. It's nice for rolling our roller chairs on them and things like that. So it's really kind of nice for that. The rest of the layout room, I did in carpet. Now I did carpet squares. And this carpet square has a pad already built into it. And it's kind of a shag a little bit, but it's a nice nap. The whole product is about a ½ inch thick, which, believe me, standing on it has been absolutely a treat to be standing on it as a whole. The nice thing about these squares, this square, it's about, now the hardwood floor was about $2.50 a square foot. I had about 300 square feet I had to do. And this carpeting I did in the rest of the 600 square feet of the 900 square foot building. And I didn't have to do it all. One of the advantages of building all the layout ahead of time is I didn't have to do any of the parts where the cabinets were built in already ahead of time, which is when you do cabinetry work, it's really nice to you know, in the kitchen they lay the floor first and then bring the cabinets in. I could do a little differently here because it's a cement floor. But this padding is not sticky per se. It's just a very clean padding that has an adhesive. I don't want to say adhesive because it doesn't really stick onto anything. What it does is just adheres very solidly and doesn't move around. And I was talking to Ralph Renzetti, who I said, well, the problem I have is my cement floors are dusty, and you know, that's not going to adhere very well. And Ralph said, Mike, clean them up, paint a urethane down on top of them, and it'll stick much better. And I'm here to tell you that's exactly correct. And we're going to kind of take a trip on this stuff. It does not move. It's fantastic. The other great benefit, if you do sounds, you know, I talked about when we put the curtains in, the sound really knocked down. Well, with sound locomotives, with the carpeting in, boy, it really brought it down. And the phones ringing, everything really settled down. In fact, to the point as you're walking through the hallway, other than this area here, it is very much like a movie theater. So it's really nice. I really do like the effect of it. But in any case, let's take a look at this. I'll look at what I'm doing for organizational skill. I'm also going to take a video of just how I've set it up. Now, understand, I'm not saying this is how you do a YouTube video. What I'm saying is this is what I'm doing to produce my YouTubes. I have a very nice camera now, and I have a studio setup and a travel setup. And right now I'm using my studio setup. And what I'll do is take a photograph and I'll insert it. And you can take a look at it. So let's take a look at it right now. And then afterwards, I'll also show you when we go to tour around. I have one of the things that you can do, especially when tracking trains now, when I'm making a trip and I'm flying somewhere, carrying some of this equipment is not the most advisable. But I have a stabilizer for stabilizing shots. Right now I currently have a two-handed, very broad one, and I'm working to save up some money. I'll get a shoulder-based one that's more compact and easily to pack up and travel, so as time goes on I'll add that to my arsenal of stuff. But what I would say in doing a YouTube video is slowly but surely, you know, start with what you got. Add to it. You know, one of the things, the first things I did was I bought a lavalier mic so that you could hear it clearly. And you might hear my wife just talk to me out here. We have an intercom system out here. So if you didn't, she's just told me she's returning a movie. But nonetheless, the first thing I invested in was a microphone. Next thing I invested in was a preamp and some mixing and some tools to help me get better sound quality. And I did that all with my DSLR. I then added a monitor so I could see what I was looking at to make sure that I could move around and stay in the picture and not have caboose shots. So that's some of the things that I've been working on. The other thing is that adding the new microphone or the new camera. I have a nice tripod stand so that the camera can work by itself and I can sit in front of it. And so that's kind of what I've got and kind of moving forward. So in any case, let's take a tour of the layout room. And if you are looking at doing a YouTube channel, don't be intimidated by what I got. You don't need all this stuff. You can do a lot more with less. I did. But I just feel that it's important that if I'm going to do this, I want to do it well, and I want to do the best I can, and that's what I'm doing. So in any case, we'll see you on the other side of the camera as we take a tour of the layout room. Okay, so this is basically what you're greeted to when you first walk into the layout room. The first thing you see is the dispatcher's desk, my computer system and all that is there. This is my primary workbench for working on rolling stock and locomotives. And there are chests there that basically hold all the parts and the different things, a balance for weighing my cars out. And then you have glass there to roll and do different things like that. This is my storage area for all my supplies, so from plastic to rails to dowels, people, electronic components, anything that I need from DCC to whatever. This is basically just my little hobby shop. I just reach over and grab what I need. And then this is primarily my modeling bench, in which I do things like, well, right now I'm currently building some turnouts, so this is what I'll be using for turnouts. And you can see I have a little chest to hold all the stuff that I need to build that, my soldering irons, and different things of that nature. And then my drawers and file cabinets and all that kind of stuff that I use for storing. So that's basically what I can see, what I use here. And this is my area that I sit out and basically listen to music, podcasts, whatever I'm doing and working on, whatever it is that I'm working on. So anyway, let's get back to the layout. This right here will be the area for the Great Western Sugar Mill in Loveland. And that's going to be this whole area. We'll actually start laying track on this here now pretty soon, now that we're all done with it. This is going to be Loveland all the way through there. There you see all my cameras. And this is the Loveland Y. Actually, if you go back in the corner, that is the lower, that's going into, this is in the Cheyenne direction, so that would be heading north on the Loveland Y. And that goes back into the staging yard. We'll see that a little later on. This Loveland Y will be built here, and as you come out of Loveland, you pass over to the dispatcher's desk and you're on your way to Longmont. So we're going to head up this way through here, and you can see that all the track work is done and ready to go. Now right here you're beginning to see into Longmont, and already we've got the plans down for doing the transfer yard. This building here is actually a placeholder for the Longmont Sugar Mill. Again, another Great Western. Just some buildings to hold some places going through here. And I want you to kind of take a look at this down here. The carpeting is all done through this area here. So we have all the carpeting all the way through here. Again, coming into here, you can see we have heat. There's the transfer from the wood floors down there. Now that little vent there is where my base plays out of, and that covers the entire area. This right here is the #1 panel, electrical panel for, and it runs the main lines of Denver all the way down here to Colorado Spring, which is on this side of the layout here. And then you can see that the switches there are for power districts 1 and 3. That's so I don't have to make all the trip over to 3 to turn it on. And then the other thing this panel controls is all the yards. So you can see that one side of that is all set up for the baseline, for the main lines. The other side is all yards. And then we've got all the stuff to give us voltage, amperage, and then we have circuit breakers so that we don't blow any of the additional things that we don't run through any of the circuit breakers there. This is one of my telephones that we use to contact the dispatcher's desk. It's fully functional. Anyway, we'll get back down to here. And when we talk about creature comforts, how can you not have, of course, the refrigerator? And yes, we have one right here. That's our refrigerator, and it happens to be located right next to the second power district. And that covers basically Loveland, and Longmont, and the sugar mills power plants. So those are all in there, same situation there. Again, this is Longmont coming all the way through there. As we come around, you can see we've already started to work on the hill that's coming into here. Now you see a couple of my old, these are my old trestle bridges from the Colorado and Coyote Creek, and they'll be finding a new home. Hopefully we'll find someone who might be interested in them. There's a curved one there, then the short one and the tall one. But in any case, we'll go on from there. This is going into Denver, coming into here, as you can see, and I have some kits already set up and ready to it'll go into this area in here. I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to put them all together. Got some placeholders through here. Now one of the things that's nice, this is Denver right here. And of course if you're visiting for the first time and you don't know where you're at, well you can just look up and lo and behold there's a sign that tells you where you're at. So that goes down into here, back over to the engine facility. I want to take a look down here. One of the things, you know, a lot of people debate, well, do you solder all, do you put gaps in your rails? Well, I solder all my rails together. And right there is my dehumidifier. And one of the things to prevent from getting kinks and your track buckling and everything is to basically control your environment by temperature and humidity. And by doing that, I can solder all my rails. I don't have expansion joints per se. There might be some just because there's a few joints here and there that were a little larger than they needed to be. But I don't get kinks. We did originally right away, but one of the things that I did it in Colorado and Coyote Creek, I did the same thing and didn't have any problems. But what the difference was is that I allowed the wood to dry out a bit. You know, unfortunately, 2x4s and all that, they don't particularly make those furniture grade. And so until they begin to dry out, you might get a little kinking. So just be aware of that. Anyway, here we are. This is the Denver industrial area, and we can tell that because it says that it's the Denver industrial. And again, these buildings are just placeholders as we go through here. Whoop, sorry about that. And we'll just come down through here. This is much of the area here, and what you see is the rail. This is coming down. Coming out of Denver and coming down into Palmer Lake. And as we walk down through here, this is one of the broadest curves going through here. This curve, the outside is over 30 inches and the inside is 2 inches smaller than that. So I believe it's a 34 and a 32 inch radius coming through there as we go down through there. And then this is going to be Palmer Lake, and again we can tell that because it says it's Palmer Lake. And as you come down through Palmer Lake, you can see now some of the clouds. We still have to paint the dark underside of them into there, which is really not that dark. It's just another white that's just a little grayer. And then as we come down into here, we get into the new modified area where we robbed for the engine facility, and we're coming into Colorado Springs. And you can see the Colorado Springs area right through here. And we got some buildings in here. Now the backdrop there, back against the wall, will actually be a coal electric plant, which is the reason why we have this yard here. It's to hold a lot of the coal cars. It's one of the only industrial areas in Colorado Springs. They had a couple. The military's down here in Colorado Springs, so they have a few things that they'll be shipping down there, and so we'll have some items to storage down in here. And then as we come around here, this is the sharpest radius of the entire layout on Colorado Springs. The outside is a 20, let's see here, it's 56 inches across, so you're looking at about 24, 25 inch radius on the inside and about 28 on the outside. And then that goes back into the staging yard back down into there. And as you can see, my one dirty section of the entire layout is, of course, I haven't finished putting the cupboards on, and my paint booth looks a wreck because, well, I haven't used it in a long period. While we're talking about staging yards, I want to get back into my staging yard. The staging yard actually comes underneath Colorado Springs and runs all the way through here back to the other side, and you might probably not going to see it there, but that's actually it underneath there. The other side comes over from over by Loveland, and it actually comes in right down here. This is my phone system. And this is the entrance of the staging area all into here. I can't quite fit my camera down into there very easily. But then that whole staging area is controlled by this power panel right down here. This is the third power district. And this power district is unique in that it is designed to actually be controlled from the dispatcher's desk of turning on and off these relays, which turns on and off the power to each of the tracks. And I'm going to kind of give you an example of what's going on here. Let's see if this works. I'm going to go turn on that system so you can take a look at what it does when it fires up. I'm trying to get the camera angle there. Alrighty, just 1 second here, and we will see the power up, and that'll also light up the tracks where I have LEDs sitting underneath it. So it powers up. Immediately the decoders fire up, and each of the relays begin to pick off. And once they're in place, they automatically go into a off position. And then underneath here, you can actually see that we have 8 rails. And this is what we store underneath Denver. And we're actually right underneath Denver there. And that stores all the trains that are on the layout. And the storage, the yard for the hidden tracks is over 36 feet long on the shortest rails. So that's what's been going on for this month in finishing our construction. It's really nice to come in here now and enjoyable. So in a minute here, we will get back to the other side of the camera. Okay, so that's what we've been doing this month. I hope that you enjoyed the tour. I am thrilled to death with the results and everything that's turned out here. It is really nice to come out here and work right now. And the nice thing about this is now we're going to be really focusing on laying track and doing scenery and getting things going. And this is where the fun really begins. But in order to get to this point, you have to put the effort in to make your layout room a comfortable place. And the nice thing about doing this, even though we haven't done anything more than laid track and maybe a little troubleshooting, the layout room looks very finished and very professional. And that in turn is going to spur your crew to do the kind of work that you're looking for. And it just sets the bar right here when we get started. So in any case, that's what we've been doing this month. I hope you enjoyed it. And kind of some things, some stuff that I've noticed. One of the things, I really enjoy YouTube, and I enjoy the comments that I get. But one of the things that I find is I get a lot of questions, and I can't always get answers to them. Matt Goodman asked me a question about my brackets. I had another gentleman ask me about my clouds and painting the darker undersides of them. And the problem with the chat down there is that I can't paste pictures into there, or at least I might just be me, I don't know, but I can't seem to get the pictures down into there. So one of the things I did is I started a Facebook page for the Colorado Front Range Railroad. And that gives me a place that you can ask questions. I'll be posting the videos in there as well as time goes on. I'm not going to post past videos, I'm going to post new one. I'll still continue to post on Model Rail Radio first. But those places I will be posting the videos of what's going on. But the nice thing about the Facebook page is you can ask questions. And I am, anyone who knows, my phone is by me all the time. I work in a service industry. I used to work in sales. I now am working as a field service engineer, which I'm really looking forward to because it's going to allow me to be home more often and spend more time on the railroad. But the big thing is I have a phone by me all the time, which means, guess what? Facebook is by me all the time. So if you ask me questions, I usually can respond to you right away. So I'm like, please, feel free. But it is a closed group. Just ask to be invited in. We're not snobs. We're just basically, I don't need a bunch of Asian ladies who are in skimpy bikinis to join into my group who are not interested in model railroading, and quite frankly we would be bombarded with all the stuff that they want to spam us with. So it's what I'm doing right now, and if you ask a question, and I have pictures and all that. The other thing that it's going to allow me to do, it's going to allow me when I'm working on something to post a nice quick picture. So if you want to know what's really kind of going on maybe this weekend or what in particular, in fact, when Sean and me get done working, I'll probably post a couple pictures into there just on what's going on in there. The other thing that I did on Facebook page there is I need a logo, and I want to use it for my videos here. I want to use it on my panels and different things like that. And I've had one submission already actually posted on the Facebook page, and we will actually take a bunch of folks. I'll give a month or two to take a look at that, and then from there I'm going to turn around. We'll have a vote. We'll decide which one looks the best, and we'll use that as our logo for both the videos and on our railroad here. If you have any questions about the logo or want any ideas that we're thinking about, just again message me on Facebook. We'll certainly get that taken care of. So looking forward to this, looking forward to all that we're doing, and again, scenery is now going to begin. So until next month, well, after I go down to the Bay Area, coming soon, we'll start some scenery. I'll probably be using the GoPro with some quick shots, maybe some time-lapse shots, and we'll kind of address what's going on from there. And any suggestions you have, please let me know, and we'll cover those as well. One of the other things I saw, and I want to hit on this just before I leave, I saw, I think it was in Facebook, one of the pages, they were making a comment about, well, I don't follow that person, I don't look at their videos or something like that because, well, they're modeling this and I'm modeling that. I am modeling the Colorado area, and a lot of people immediately think Colorado and Denver is in the mountains. Well, the truth be told, Colorado and Denver, excuse me, let me rephrase that, Denver in Colorado is on the plains. Now, as you get to the west end of the metropolitan area, and believe me, you're out of Denver by then. It's grown so much. When I was a kid, there was quite a bit of miles between Denver and the foothills and getting into the mountains. And there still is today. They didn't move the city. It has grown, but the city hasn't moved at all. And I'm modeling 1959, so guess what? There's a good amount of distance between there. So I'm modeling the plains, and I'm modeling it in the fall of '59. And so if I were to take that attitude, I wouldn't be following the likes of Marty McGurk, who's also modeling the fall, who is also helping me work on my fall scenery here as well. So while Marty's modeling the Northeast, I'm certainly modeling the West. You would think they don't have anything in common, but the techniques are still the same. So don't shut down somebody, or don't take a look at what's going on. I look at everybody's stuff and see if I can get a new idea. Matter of fact, I just got done watching a video on YouTube this morning of a gentleman that has a layout. It's a Midwestern theme. He's got portions of it that's in South Dakota, portions it's all Iowa. It's all over the place, and it's a very whimsical type of layout. Very nicely done. I liked it. It was really nice. But he had some buildings in there, some stuff that I looked at and I went, hey, I recognize that, and it's something that I could do, and it would fit on my layout, and it actually matches a building I've been trying to figure out how to model. So don't think just because somebody's modeling something different than you that you can't take a look and learn something from us. And using George Sinos's famous phrase, to be an expert, you only have to read one chapter ahead of everybody else, and then you're an expert. And that's pretty much what I'm doing. I'm just one chapter ahead. That would make me an expert. I don't agree with that thought at all. I'm just another guy. So in any case, happy modeling, and we'll see you next month.